Hey guys, this is Jay Calder of JAYONBOXING here giving you a personal prediction for Shakur Stevenson versus Edwin de Los Santos. And as always, this is just my take, of course. Your predictions can be left down in the comments section below. Would love to hear them all. Kind of an under-the-radar fight. Certainly not some blockbuster names in a blockbuster fight, but definitely one that can be interesting at 135 pounds. So love to hear all your thoughts down in the comments section below. And a little bit of fight info here. We have the aforementioned Stevenson taking on de Los Santos. This will be at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, airing live on ESPN in the lightweight division with the vacant WBC lightweight title on the line. So, we get a random fight card, a good one, on a Thursday, November 16th for those uninformed. Why? No clue. I'm sure it has something to do with what's going to be programmed on ESPN that day, but in any event, some decent fights, so I'll take it. With Stevenson, you have a guy who's won multiple world titles in different divisions, is unified, but has kind of always made his fights less than competitive because of his level and his personal quality. De Los Santos, on the other hand, hasn't quite reached those levels, of course, but has shown bursts of being that kind of fighter, but has also fallen short at times. However, could he be the sort of person to potentially trouble Stevenson with his kind of mixture of having strong power, but some underrated boxing skills as well? And then, of course, what approach is either man going to take into the ring? Will De Los Santos be more the boxer or more the puncher? And will Stevenson worry about trying to entertain when in the past he's been called boring? All of this has to come into kind of your mind when you're thinking about these sort of fights and makes it a lot more compelling a watch than if you just kind of knew what they were going to bring to the ring. So you have to wonder here, is De Los Santos going to bring something unique to the game that Stevenson is going to have some difficulty with, or will Stevenson continue to be one of boxing's most difficult puzzles to solve? Let's break this one down and find out. Starting off with Stevenson, for Stevenson to win, you want to work the double jab. The double jab is going to set up a lot of your work, most of your work, in fact. It also offsets your opponent's timing, especially someone like De Los Santos who likes to work off of that timing. So if you can get that going, it'll allow for you to begin to kind of get your work done, especially someone trying to counter, and I think De Los Santos will try that in this fight. It also sets up your left hand or the backhand for you as a southpaw, but also the lead hook to give kind of different looks that you like to give, and that lead hook of yours can kind of land in a nice sweeping way that will allow for you to score without him expecting it. At worst, that double jab will help you score and keep De Los Santos at bay if he does try to come in a bit more and tries to make it a more physical or more exciting kind of action fight. What's more, you have a little bit less reach by a couple of inches than Los Santos, and when you double that jab up, it allows for you to kind of close ground a bit more, make it on your time, and then land at least that second jab. Even if the first one falls short, but the second one gets there, you're now inside, have bought yourself a little bit more room, a little bit more real estate, and you can then get to work and then get out of harm's way before any damage is done. I would also say counter the counters. I do believe, I think I'm alluding to this here, that I think De Los Santos likes to switch it up, but might even begin countering in this fight more than trying to just all-out attack. He's been countering a lot more recently and doing it pretty well, so you're going to have to neutralize that and take that away by trying to give him those false jabs or that jab step or a feint, anything to try to draw out the counter and counter that yourself. If you're able to do that, of course, it's going to give him far more reason to pause and consider another option, which again allows for you then to dictate the terms. Get him to think or hesitate and draw that tactic out of him. Then you can press him a bit more or you can sit back, but again, it's on your terms because he is a lot more gun shy if you're trying to counter those counters. And the sooner in the fight you can get that going, the better. And finally, I would say get the combinations going. Now, this is something that I would say is kind of in order of how I think you should do this. You want to make sure that you're getting that jab going. You want to make sure you're timing him and getting those counters going. And once that happens, then it's time to let your hands go a bit more and get the combinations going. Once you're setting up the other work that we've mentioned, the combinations can work a lot more for you and they can become cleaner because of your accuracy, because he might be a bit more gun shy if you're getting those first tactics down. Your shots don't need to be power. They just need to be enough to keep De Los Santos honest. If he's not able to just come in freely, and again, you have underrated sting in your shots. I'm not saying you're a knockout artist, but if you can keep him honest, takes away a lot of his opportunities, limits his possibilities. You know, the overall effect of your work might be able to hurt your man late, but either way, it at least will discourage him from coming in freely and will allow again for you to dictate the terms that we've mentioned and give you your best chance for success on the night. Now switching over to De Los Santos. For De Los Santos to win, you want to land the step back counter. You can be aggressive at times, and you should be in this fight, especially once you get going, but you seem very comfortable countering, and I think that's something you should try to exploit against Shakur especially. Against Stevenson, when you have a bit more reach, when you seem to get your timing down pretty quickly, and when he's used to being the one trying to set the traps, if you're able to do that against him, I think it might be your best option. I speak specifically of that right hook, which counters really, really well when someone's trying to step in, and you can do it with power, and you do have some power, so this is a way of implementing that while not having to take such a big risk. If you can just flick that right hook out there while they're trying to step in and then give them some angles, which we'll talk about in a bit here, I think you should have a lot more success than otherwise. Draw action out of him, force him to fight, and then counter when he's too aggressive. It's not something he's always used to, especially not when he's being forced to do it. Then, when you hit him with that considerable power, you can follow it up and do more of the damaging work you're looking to do. And as I alluded to there, keep him turning. You'll need to use your angles against Shakur. He's simply too smart for a fighter to stay on those kind of straighter lines. He's gonna find you, he's too accurate, he will hit you. If you try charging in and then just landing something big, it's too predictable. If you're backing up in a straight line, of course, too predictable. He will follow it up. He's quick enough, has quick feet. He will get to you. You need to use angles. Sometimes it can be simple, simply just stepping from one side to the other and just giving him a different look. But also, you've thrown or when you've countered, turning him so that he's a little bit more out of position and you're in a better spot to land. And if you could sit back and counter more, you'll need to be able to land and spin to avoid the shots coming back. And it will make your shots more effective if he's not seeing them coming from the angles you're throwing them at if you're switching it up. And finally, step in to finish. Now, once you have him falling short and you're countering, then you're looking to back him up and land something bigger. Ultimately, you are a power puncher. You're going to want to use that power. You don't just want to sit back and be defensive all night. Those angles can help that as well, as you can use him to kind of hit him on the angle and on the turn, as I mentioned, while staying out of the line of fire, keeping yourself fresh and putting some damage on him. If you try to advance, and you notice that it simply isn't working out because you haven't quite got it down yet, reset. Jab, turn, counter, then try again. But it will only work if you set this all up in unison. If you can get these keys to kind of work in the same direction, you should be able to step in as the fight progresses and put a lot more hurt on your man. Now, in terms of my pick here, I do think, like some seem to believe, Los Santos might push Shakur a bit more than previous opponents. However, I also believe, like most believe, that the unbeaten American still gets the job done. There will be a few closer rounds in the earlier points of the fight, especially as they both get a kind of read on one another. Shakur might even feel some power. However, provided he doesn't get buzzed too bad, I think he adjusts and uses his precision and quick combinations to shell Los Santos up enough that he can take the rounds later on. I don't think either man goes down, don't think either man really dominates either necessarily, but I do think the adjustments and the clean shots of Shakur will make the difference down the stretch and provide him with the victory. Winner, Shakur Stevenson via unanimous decision. No surprise there. And as I alluded to there, the betting odds here have Stevenson as a sizable favorite, coming in at a minus 950, with Los Santos coming in at a plus 540. You can find even wider odds for the record, but those are the ones I'm going with here. Don't really see a lot of value in Stevenson in a straight-up money line. Obviously, not even much in the parlay area, simply because you're just kind of killing the parlay, and there's just too much of a gamble, basically getting 10-to-1 odds. Not something I'm really looking for. If you can justify a pick of Los Santos, sure, you might be able to talk your way into a 5.5-to-1 in your favor. Why not? Personally, don't see it happening, but that would be the only line I would even consider if I were to consider one. In terms of the over-under, it's set at 10.5, no surprise there as well, with the over coming in at a minus 400 and the under coming in at a plus 270. To me, you could potentially consider the under if you just happen to think that either Los Santos, if he does catch him, it will be a knockout, or maybe Stevenson really puts a beating on him. You just don't know. You never know until you see these guys fight at that level. That would be about the only line that I would look into. Certainly not the over again, just a bit too much of a gamble for my blood, but in any event, those are your odds. And my prediction record as of this recording is 33-12 with 22 exact, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Love to hear thoughts, predictions, bets, so on and so forth. Please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, check out all the socials here, and of course, be sure to visit JAYONBOXING.com for more, for schedules, results, betting odds, rankings, all that good stuff. And as always, until next time.